Thing going on?
Oh yeah.
All right, the
Okay.
timing thing is going on.
There you go.
Going to see how so I have to look at you all the time, is
That's
that
true.
it?
Well, you don't have to, but I mean, I don't need to see the back of your head.
Well, what are we going to do here?
Well, I don't know.
I'm going to stay on the
Road.
and then I'll do a 90-degree thing, right?
Okay, so you can just go ahead and talk,
And then you can go
and then
to
I'll just
that.
do that,
Okay.
and then I'll just come back.
Okay, well, turn her off and let's see what this sounds like. Okay, this is Bechard, Saskatchewan. Told by the memories of like a 7 or 6-year-old kid when he used to be here. First of all, we got to school. I almost made it to that school. I remember as being about 5 years old, and they had a sort of a dance and a depression party there. All the ladies had dresses made out of bags, wheat bags, and they had brought pies and everything. They had a CBC. The CBC, you could rent a projector. They had a projector there, and it was a short, supposed to be a comedy film about how farmers can fix anything with binder twine and wire. And I can remember being a kid sitting in there in the projector going, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, this one works pretty good, you know. What's so funny about this? This is the way to go. But anyway, that school quit a year before I got there, and I had to go to another school. Over here on this side was the train station. The train would go from here to Regina, 2-story building with a deck and a waiting room and a place for parcels and packages and passengers. My father and my uncle would put a cream can there every day. Off we would go to school. When my father went to high school, he'd get onto the train here. The train would go to Regina, and when it crossed Dudney Avenue, where Luther College was, Father would get the conductor to stop the train. He'd jump off and he'd walk to school from the train. But anyway, the train station was there. Now, okay, beside the school was where the school teacher and the one elevator agent lived.
I'll just zoom in on nothing.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, I'll wait till we get there. I guess I can walk backwards.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you walk backwards. That's right.
That's a thing to do. But anyway, there were 2 elevators in this little town. One was run by a Mr. Art Downs. He was like and this I could be wrong. This is from the memory of like a 5-6-year-old, but he was a drunk. He was doing a lot of drinking. His wife Alice Downs was a teacher. She was a sharp lady, but Art was a drunk. And then the other elevator, the second elevator, was run by Mr. Bechard, same name, after the same family that this little town is named after, and he was the ideal employee. He just was always on time and everything. And for some reason, my dad always went to the drunk elevator agent rather than the good one. But the elevators were built before there was any electricity. So the whole elevator ran off of this one engine here. The elevator ran off of this one engine, and the elevator agent's office was in a little building over this engine. And when you sat in his office, the engine, which was a huge 1-cylinder engine, would just chug, chug, chug about 60 revolutions per minute, just like a heartbeat. And there'd be a nice chugging sound. The whole building would just shake ever so slightly, chug, chug, chug. There'd be this smell of kerosene that it ran off of, sort of a perfumey smell, warm from the engine. So it's kind of a great place, right? And the elevator agent wasn't doing anything for a long time, so it was a great place.
Except drinking.
Except drinking, that's right. So anyway, there was a big belt that would go on here, a flat belt, because they hadn't invented like V-belts, and it would go 100 feet or so to the elevator as partly fire protection and partly because they needed a long belt for
So this
weight.
is where it was originally. This is the spot it was at.
No. The elevators were all over there.
Okay.
This was just brought here. And then the elevator...
For display purposes.
The elevator was actually just a tall building that had another belt with cups on it that would lift the grain to the top and fill these bins in. So anyway, I can remember coming to this elevator, and this engine, they had no electric start or anything. It had compressed air as its starting media. And I can remember the elevator agent being so drunk, he didn't have the dexterity to start this engine, but he would sort of explain it to my father. What had to be open, what had to be over dead center, and they'd get this engine going. But anyway, that's about all I was going to say about that. Sort of run out of things to talk about that. But anyway, there was 2 elevators here. They made a good business.
No, you have to go like this, Don.
Okay, come along, follow me. And then, here, this is all new. What the hell? There's some stakes here. Nobody's been living here for frickin' 50 years. And there's stakes here that says, property line. What the hell's going on? That's what I want to know. Internet people, help me. What's going on? Anyway, here was the general store. And the general store was run by Mr. McIver. He was a retired policeman. And one time he broke his leg or something. So my father loaned me out to help them get all the stuff from Regina, from all the warehouses. And all those big old warehouses, they're turning into condominiums in Regina. They used to be fruit and vegetable warehouses. Yeah, it was beautiful smelling, cool buildings. But anyway, we never had a post office box because you had to pay for a post office box. We had general delivery.
Oh, Jesus.
This guy would get stuff for you because he could buy stuff wholesale. One time, my father told Mr. McIver to get him a step ladder, and he bought like the world's best step ladder at that time. And my father could not believe the money he had bought the step ladder. He said he just wanted a freaking ladder, not something that was worth a month's salary. And he was pissed off, but what the hell. Anyway, my dad's gone. The guy who bought the step ladder's gone, and the step ladder is still there in perfect condition. What the hell else? One time, old Mr. McIver, he broke his leg, as I maybe mentioned before. He rigged up a thing on his truck, so it was a standard. He could drive it with one leg. If he pushed it first, it would be the clutch, and then if he kept pushing it, it would be the brake.
Jesus.
So anyway, we were driving through the city with his rigged up thing, but he had the store there, and then when he retired, a local bachelor bought it, Super Dave Purvis, and Super Dave turned it into his man cave and had a pool table in it. And the big store was turned into a Super Dave's castle. And here was the house of the Bechards. That was the second elevator agent. he was the person who was sort of, as a 5-year-old, remembering, he was like the good elevator agent compared to the bad one. But he had 2 sons who were still farming. He had a daughter. And when I was in about grade 1, she was mowing the lawn, and she mowed one of her toes off with the lawnmower. and I can remember being in grade 1 thinking, is this like a sexual thing? Is this some sort of, like, it would be awful interesting to see that toe. I was thinking,
Okay.
you can see various portions of the female body, but at that point, at that age, I was more interested in seeing that toe more than anything else. Anyway, old Simon is still around.
Without a toe.
Without -1 toe.
-1 toe.
-1 toe. And then these elevators, of course, you've seen them, the tall, iconic buildings. They were built for a time before hoists on trucks. You could still bring your horses in there. They would unhitch the horses, and they had no hydraulics. They had air pressure. So they had a big,
Oh, yeah, right. I remember
big
that.
piston that you put the front wheel of your truck in, and it would tip the truck up
Yeah.
and dump the load. Then it would go back down. And then, of course, the truck, after being 45-degree angle, carburetor would be drained out. It wouldn't want to start.
Oh.
And then, right? And then back you would go. But what do we have here? We have here, at this elevator agent's place, some stakes here for surveying stakes and some cut grass. So, what's going on? This is Don Schmeling from Bechard, Saskatchewan.